CEO, what does that stand for? Chief Executive Officer. What the heck is that? Stay tuned and find out. Welcome to The How. If this is your first time on my channel, I make videos designed to help people find a satisfying career or side hustle. If you're a returning viewer, consider subscribing because you will have an opportunity for your voice to be heard and impact the videos that I make. In today's video, I'm going to share with you an awesome opportunity where I got to interview someone who not only owns, but created their own company and has made thousands upon thousands of jobs for others. So let's jump into it and learn how they did it so that you can potentially do the same thing.
I'm Hillary Adams. I've been doing jewelry now for a little over 10 years, but as CEO here at Plunder Design, 6 years and counting. We were broke at the time. In fact, entirely bankrupt. Our house was in the process of being repossessed because it was when the economy crashed. I had a friend that owned a boutique in Alpine, Utah. And at the time, the soldered glass pendants were really popular. And so she said, if you can figure out this technique, I know the supplies to do it aren't that expensive, and I can sell the finished product for you. And so I took the $200 and went to a stained glass store and bought the supplies to put that stuff together. And I started scoring the glass and cutting the glass to make the little soldered pendants. She had told me if I could have 500 of them to her business by December 1st, she would pay me $3 a piece for them. So I knew $1,500, 200 in supplies. I might need to buy a little bit more solder, but it was like game over, all in. Total obsession on how we were going to make this work. Well, for me, work-life balance, it's like an every single day balance, because even though any day I could call in and say I'm not going to be there, I know the responsibility weighs kind of heavy. Typically, I work Monday through Friday, and I'm always working before I actually come to the office, but I usually pull into the office about 8:15. We have a gal that shows up to help with our family, and then I'm here until usually 6 o'clock because my husband comes in a little bit later and leaves earlier. So between my husband and I, we've kind of switched the roles. He's more the stay-at-home mom, and he works full-time, part-time here at the building. But because this business right now requires me to be full-time and then some, I put in longer days than I should. But I think it's the epitome of play hard and work hard. And my older kids understand that because they went through a time when we couldn't even pay for dancing lessons or stop for a Happy Meal. So they understand the ebb and flow. And we get to do some really insane things as a family. But we have to constantly be talking our kids through understanding that. And then, of course, without really good help at home, there's just no way you could do this. Few people, I think, really get the option to do something that they love like I do. I could go water skiing, but I'd really rather be at work. I love, this fuels me in a way that nothing else does, other than being at home with my family. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that because I started out hairdressing. I knew I liked to do hair. In fact, I knew I loved to do hair. So by starting there with something that I loved, it didn't take me too long before I was like, but this isn't. And even I franchised where I owned the salon, and we were running 10 stylists at the time. And even when I was doing that, it was definitely more a job than a business. But I do think you fine-tune your work ethic doing things like that. I think it's some of those things that get you going. You start looking around and think, everybody's not doing this. There's no end. This is a job, and this is relentless. We've got to figure it out. I would say the biggest thing is you have to be here. You have to put in the time to know because most of the decisions they come to me with, it's like I have the experience, or I've been in that department, or I understand the price, or I understand the design. That really creative solutions come really easy to me because I really am the only person in the building that's done every single, yeah, like we invented our personalized product, that we engraved stuff on. So I went out, tested the machine, knew how many we could produce here in how much time. Then I took the raw goods to trying to finding out how many stainless steel blanks we could get for a certain dollar amount to put an initial on. Then how many letters would fit on that. So then when they come back and say, you can't write God blessed America on that, it's really quick for me to go, oh yeah, you can't write America because that's too many letters. You can write God bless the USA. Just that quick, because you understand the world that you're playing in. You have to be totally honest at all costs. And sometimes that means telling people something they don't want to hear. Sometimes that means really, really owning your mistake in a real public way. When I started and we had just a few stylists, I really thought, like, we have this money, we're starting this business, and if I mess up at all, that's it. My chance at making this work is over. And I just kept showing up and messing up and messing up and messing up. And every day I would mess up or do something wrong. I would contact the stylist and say, all right, I know I did that wrong, but this was what I thought. This is what I did. And I won't do that again. And as we've gotten larger, sometimes owning up to those big mistakes in front of a lot of people. People are so good. People are so good. I think people want to know the truth, and then they want to understand how you formed that conclusion. So I think the very most important thing is being honest, sometimes even when that's to your own fault, or to your business's fault, or to the detriment of the dollar right then, because the trust and the partnership is so much more important than trying to sugarcoat something or protect your ego or tell them it happened this way when really that was your decision. And because I built that level of trust with customers and with stylists, I get to make most of those really heavy, big decisions. But I also know that if I do it incorrectly, I've got a really great allegiance with the people that I work with. And that's never let me down. I think my biggest thing with the creative part, and I have a hard time with this now, because in order to manage the stuff that I'm managing, they're like, you had to be time blocking 4 hours a day. They should be your most effective time block hours, and using those for this very specific thing, because that can be uninterrupted time. For me, when creativity strikes, it can happen like on an airplane with my family on the way to Florida, and I'm supposed to be sleeping. But if I'm in creative design jewelry mode, you just got to give me that moment and let me work that through. Because if I put that off thinking I'll do that a week from now on a Monday when I get to that office, on a Monday when I get back into that office, that window of feeling it can be totally gone. So I think letting yourself have permission to do what you're passionate about in that moment. You can't be someone that always wants to be right, because you're not always going to be right. You can't think, I don't ever screw up, because you're going to screw up. Some days, like, you're going to screw up every 60 minutes. Some days it's just like that when you're learning to fill shoes that are this big. You kind of have to go where your mind and heart are taking you, because you'd put this like, oh, on Monday I'm going to clean the pantry, on Tuesday I'm going to do laundry. Well, on Monday, if you got up and the last thing in the world you wanted to do was clean the pantry, I would seriously recommend not cleaning the pantry, because it's going to take you twice as long, and it's not going to get done in a way that one day you'll wake up and that pantry will be driving you so dang crazy that you'll be so excited to clean it. You'll do it in half the time and it'll be done twice as well. So I kind of feel like you have to show up every day, but then listen to where your mind is that day, listen to where you're being drawn, and do the thing that you're passionate about in that moment. It's no good to make yourself sit down and write social media posts if you've been dreaming about this necklace all day that you want to bring to the marketplace. The social media posts are going to suffer, and you might not ever get passionate about designing that piece again. That very same thing, I've gone home with my family and had dinner ready, and in my head I know I have to have a conversation with somebody about business, and I'm better just to excuse myself from that situation, go have that conversation, and then get back. It's difficult. It's difficult. For me, the disconnect thing has to be like, I have to let everybody know the cell phone will be somewhere else, because everything, the social media, the marketing, the manufacturers, now that everything can run through this, you can be in the moment with your family somewhere, and a quick little message can interrupt that whole, well, if you've spent time to be in the moment on the beach, you don't want a message from somebody to take you out of that. Like if I don't answer my phone, Abe always answers there. So if I'm with him, that is helpful, because I can go, my phone can be going off crazy hell's bells all day long. But I know that if someone absolutely has to get through to me, for example, it's a supplier, we've got something stuck in customs, or our largest leader's ready to go quit and go somewhere else, they will get to Abe and Abe will get to me. And so he helps filter that a little bit. So number one step on getting started, I really struggled because I'm a super perfectionist. For example, when I was starting and I was going out to shows and things, I would in my head decide what this booth needed to look like, right? We're gonna wallpaper the canvas panels. We're gonna have a selection of 20 different necklaces. Well, my partner at that time was really just a go for it, and she was less of a perfectionist. So lots of times she would call me and be like, I threw us into this event for Thursday, let's take the stuff up there and do it. And I'd be like, we haven't wallpapered this, and that other necklace isn't gonna be done yet. We'll just do the next one. Let's just fix the next one. Well, she'd always be like, nope, let's just go with what we have. Let's just do it. It will be good enough. And we were creating revenue by just moving forward with what we had. And we were learning much quicker than we would have otherwise learned. Because we'd do that event, I'd go, yeah, we really need those other 2 necklaces. Or sometimes we'd go do it and I'd be like, we had way too many options, but we were in the game. Not in the perfected way that I wanted to be, but I would have missed a lot of opportunities by trying to aim too big and not start playing. Take your progress to the marketplace as fast as you can, because you can't understand that feedback until you get your head in the game. Understand that business is more forgiving. Like, you are going to mess up. You're going to mess up a lot. And I used to think, yeah, that's just so cliche. Learn from your mistakes. You mess up, you learn something, you mess up. But it really is true. The more you mess up, the faster you can learn, the quicker you can refine, and the quicker you can be there. And it's like the first person that can mess up the most, refine the quickest, and get there the fastest wins. But so many people that first mess up just go, this isn't gonna work. And that's not true at all. In fact, I think almost the harder and the more painful it is, the better it's going to work when it finally does work. I like to look at it, and even still do, because it's hard. You have like really hard days emotionally, and then it was hard financially at different times. But I would think in my head, this is where everybody else quit, because I really do feel like I'm the only one crazy enough to still be here. But knowing when I got there, we'd be kind of in a league of our own. So if you can think about it that way, modify and move, modify and move, modify and move, it's all part of that process. I think in order to get where I am, there were times when none of it made sense. Besides the fact that even still when I talk about it, I know if I hit my knees right now and said, what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to be? Really, really, really come again. This is hard. I've always been able to have the confirmation that this was the right thing and this is where I should be.
Would you say that that's a must?
For me, must. Way too many sacrifices on the home front, way too humbling professionally not to go. At the end of the day, I can throw it all over the fence and he's got this because I'm nowhere near competent. Not with the relationship, not with the product, not with the pictures, not with the branding. So for me, an absolute, and if that for you is my mom always believed in me or my dad always believed in me, but that why is going to have to be bigger than anything that you want today or tomorrow, and it's going to have to fill that gap when it gets really hard. And so just that unconditional, you're exactly where you're supposed to be for whatever reason that is. You better decide what it is, and then you'll get there. Just keep moving. I think surround yourself with really good people that believe in you, because there'll be enough people that say you're crazy. My husband, from the day I married him, I didn't always like it, but he would say, you have the it factor. You are, if we ever do anything really big, I'll go to work and I'll work really hard to support us. But if we ever get ahead, it'll be because of something that you do or something that we do together, because you've got that juju that successful people have. And who knows whether it was true or not, but I love him enough. And when you decide you want to do something like that, it's important that you have people like that can believe you can. And then if somebody tells you different, consider the source. Like, how many times have they sat at your dinner table? How well do they know you? How many times have you worked shoulder to shoulder next to that person to get something done? And let that just fuel your tenacious spirit to prove them wrong. Limit who you expose yourself to, because there would be a lot more people that would rather just, they've tried things and they've failed, and it's really uncomfortable now that you think you can do this, because why would you be able to when they haven't been able to? They're older than you, they're wiser than you, they understand jewelry better, they're better at fashion. There's a million reasons you're going to fail. And I think it's pretty commonplace in today's world that when you start to do something bigger than everybody else, they want to pull you down. So surround yourself with people that love you, that care about you, and that know you. Because those people, for me, were absolute, you have to have them. I like to think about Plunder just my few little friends making something really great happen. But we work really hard and we love what we do. And so I think lots of people can't, because even on my very really good days, when I pull into our building, I pull in right here where the 8 cars park, and I intentionally turn my car around and pull out and head home that way. Because if I drive around the building this way and I see the 75 cars, I start to panic. Like 75 people, and they all think that they're going to be paid from me on Friday. Go home, like this. It's just so much. It's so much bigger than even I identify with on a lot of days. And that's not because we haven't worked hard or done some really great things, but it's more than I ever dreamt, even on the very best day. I think sleeping in and staying in your pajamas, because I used to never be like, oh, I can just take a day and sleep in. That would be such a trashy thing to do with my life. And now if I get the chance to just sleep in and call a morning, I love it and actually feel like it's like well-earned, deserved, a classy type, like it's a Monday and I'm sleeping in my pajamas. Super classy, no longer trashy. Well, I think it depends on where I'm at in the flow of my life. Because if I'm super balanced at home and work, I'd take the kids, go on a vacation, be gone for weeks. But right now, because I've been pushing the envelope on work and home life balance, like a day in an empty house with my own thoughts, with my own agenda to organize my creative thoughts for the up and coming like next few months for my business. Because right now I feel like that's time that I miss when I'm so crazy at work and so crazy at home. I don't get a lot of time to really take it in and get excited about what's coming next. Call it plunderwear. It would all be briefs and sexy tank tops. No, it would not be. My husband would probably insist that it be like guns and ammo and camouflage and like really cool masculine things so that we could go on hunting excursions because our products would pay for all of them.
Hillary is an incredible person. Since she's the CEO of a company, I was slightly intimidated to ask her for an interview because, I mean, I'm a lowly YouTuber. But she was extremely generous to give me her time and give me her insights, and just want to say thank you to her for doing that. After interviewing Hillary, there were a few items that stood out to me and that I'm going to share in more detail in my quick tip video, so keep an eye out for that. If this video is helpful to you, please hit the like button and consider sharing this video with someone that you think could benefit. Hit the subscribe button, that way you can stay up to speed with the latest videos on hobbies, opportunities, work, and how to find the right career fit for you.